And my next guest is Jenna Zeng, and she doesn't have any technical difficulties, so we're all good today. Never mind. Jenna, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. I know it's very late for you. So yeah, it's midnight at your place. So yeah, we're just on 3:15. So thank you so much for staying up so late to be here. And you're going to be discussing with us starting a bootstrapped startup. So yeah, I'm interested because we discussed that on the podcast a few weeks ago, and it was interesting to know, your take on starting as a bootstrap, because it's not something that we all think about.
Yeah, absolutely. And it could be a scary concept going into your own business without any kind of investors or capital, and just kind of doing the dang thing. So yeah, I'm excited to chat about it.
Yeah, I know I started with absolutely nothing, and just relied on money coming in. My husband was earning because I wasn't earning anything, because I'd left the corporate world. I had enough of it, and and trying to get all the apps that you need or you think you need, the business cards that you think you need, the website that you think you need, all of those, card magnets, that you think you need, because, you're going to be famous and people are going to come flocking to you, as soon as you've started your business. And my God, was I in for a totally rude awakening.
Yeah, everything you're saying is hitting the nail on the head. Honestly, I'm like, yeah, check. And just, it's a big reality check when you go into business for yourself. And I think it's so humbling to learn to realize that nothing needs to be perfect. In fact, imperfect is what you need to put out there. You just need to start going. And then as you build momentum, that is how you're going to grow your business.
Absolutely. So how did you start your business?
Yeah, so did you want me to bring up my presentation?
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Yes. Yeah. And I'll let you have the floor, and I'll go in the background.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. There we go. Just let me know if you're able to see it. All good?
Perfect. I can see it perfectly.
Okay, perfect. There we go. All right.
Good.
Okay. Beautiful. So I'm not very tech savvy. I didn't have my VA help me with this, so it's going to be pretty boring looking, but I'm going to walk you through everything. So today I'm going to talk about the exact way I would start my business from scratch if I was starting today with all the knowledge that I have. So we're going to go through, mindset reset, common traps to avoid. Like Rose was just talking about, we had these grandiose ideas of how people will come flocking, and really and truly we need to have a very realistic mindset, but also a belief mindset that we can do the things that we're going to do, even if the people don't come flocking. Turning our idea into a reality, market research, beta testing, launching, so building out your business, marketing, organic versus paid advertising, and I'm going to go through the many mistakes I made along the way, and then the top resources as a business owner that we use in our day-to-day operations for a six-figure business. So I'm going to dive right in. So a little bit about myself. Keep it there. So I work with small to medium enterprises that bring in over $1 million in revenue. Basically, I help build their dream solutions and kind of build out solutions to their backend headaches. So that wasn't always the case, though. Dwayne and I, my co-founder, actually started with a small cleaning business back in 2018. And based on a gap that we saw within the market, a huge pain point for our small business, we saw a position for StaffNet scheduling. So we decided to build out our own software, our own app, and basically the perfect solution for a small business to be able to work like a larger business, essentially, and be able to compete with the larger businesses, because we were cleaning residential and commercial It was very hard to scale, and there wasn't a lot of resources and help. So from there, in 2019, we set out to craft the perfect software. And basically, we leveraged the ability to automate systems and allow for business owners to take back their time within their day. So as of right now, we've shifted our target audience within the last month or so. It's kind of an exciting time to talk with everybody, because it just goes to show in business, you're constantly adjusting and pivoting, and that's totally okay. It's just learning how to assess your business and see what's working and what's not working. So we still very much cater to small businesses, but we also are catering to larger scale business as well now. So super excited to share these foundations of how we were able to build a business with zero investors, very little capital, I should say. And I'll teach you the trick that I use to convert 1 out of 2 cold outreach messages that could end up selling your product at the end of this presentation. This roadmap is one that I wish I was given many years ago when I started, so I'm really happy to share with you guys. So as you can see here, we have a little bit of a roller coaster. So business is a roller coaster. You're going to have the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. Knowing that when you're at a low, that a high will soon be on the horizon can be uplifting. But I've learned in business that when we're in the lows, it means that my business isn't growing because there's somewhere where I need to grow. And so from there, whenever I do the soul searching and the growing and building upon skills that I need to brush up on, I find that's when my business starts to grow. So these ebbs and flows are very interconnected with you, the entrepreneur, and your growth within your business. So kind of that cohesion is something that I really want to drive home. The next one. So here are the common traps that we often face. So I want to preface this by saying all of these mindset issues, I personally had to reset. So I kind of put the top ones that came to the surface for me. And if I can prime you to be a little bit better off to start, I've done my job essentially. So I'm also a mindset coach with my husband's PT business. So this is very close to home for me. And I just want to kind of level the playing field to begin. With businesses, money can be a huge limiting belief. You actually don't need a lot of money to start. Your idea is capital enough. Don't believe otherwise. Start small, and you don't need millions of dollars to start overall. And then limiting beliefs. So if you wait around till you're ready, it's already too late. You're gonna never be comfortable. So get ready to be uncomfortable with going into business. A lot of people have this idea of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, and I'm not ready. And if you continue to tell your brain that, your brain's going to think, okay, this is the truth, right? But if you want to be an innovator and somebody who's going to be paving your own path and putting your products out in the world that could actually revolutionize the small business industry or wherever your market is, you have to be like the Tony Robbins, the Russell Brunsons, the Marie Forleos, Jenna Kutchers, all those people out there who have this belief mindset of I can do and I will do. And so that is something that I personally embody. I know Rose embodies that. And we basically want to carry that forward with us because that is the momentum that will carry you in the lows, right? From there, we basically, it's funny because this whole thing reminds me of my kid's story of always saying that he can try. It's about a truck always saying he can try, he can try, he can try. We always tell children that they need to try and try and try. And this is something that we need to continually remind ourselves. From there, closed mindset. So the most common one is it won't work for me because of X, because I'm not established enough. I'm not in that industry. I don't have the funds that they do. Being an entrepreneur means that you're creative. You need to become a creative scientist with all aspects of your life, with your time and resources. So my suggestion is to instead ask yourself, how can I make this work for me? It's a 180 mind shift but you're going to be able to see a lot more paths open that way and the roadblocks dissipate. All right. And then fear of judgment. This is a huge one. To be put frankly, we're only here for a finite time. Whatever you do, if you do too little, if you do too much, either way in this world, you're going to be judged by the people. One common theme that I hear from so many of my clients with my mindset coaching is, hey, Jenna, I'm afraid that people on Facebook are going to judge me. Who are these people on Facebook? Oh, I went to high school with them. Do you still talk to them? No. So why are you worried about what they'll think about you, right? And so often we get inside of our heads thinking this person will think this and this and this. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what they think, because you have these gifts that were given to you, and it is your job to put it out there. So it is your job to live your most authentic life at the end of the day, and putting your product, your gift, your acts out there is the most important thing that you need to do in terms of building your business. Okay. And then for me, this is a big one. I call SOS, which is shiny object syndrome. And basically that just means I have a lot of half-built bridges. What are half-built bridges? Basically, really exciting ideas in the moment because I see it being done on the internet. And then my friend tells me about something that's working for them. And then I get this grandiose idea in a dream. And then I have all of these half-built bridges because I'm so excited to start a new project. And then I get into the project. And that kind of gets boring, right? And then I see something over here and I'm like, oh, I want to go this way. And with these half-built bridges, you're really not following through and you're hindering the success of your business. So this is a huge common trap that I see in so many small businesses. I was caught in it for many months myself, and I am continually working not to build bridges halfway, to continually build all the way across. And then the opinions of others. So this is probably the number one killer to all great ideas and people's genius. Well-intentioned opinions from a mother not wanting harm to happen to her child, saying, oh, this is not for you, it's too risky. You're going to lose it all. It's not your personality type. You're not one to go and do this. These kind of limiting beliefs that or people are putting on you at the end of the day can be really destructive, because all of a sudden you're really excited about this idea and now you're doubting yourself. So point A to point B, right? And the issue is that as well-intentioned as they are, it can actually be the difference between a really amazing life and just a mediocre life for you. So a personal example of this for me was when we started StaffNet scheduling. I was at a government job, but I was on leave because of maternity. And then I had decided not to go back to my government job because I wanted to work on StaffNet full time, this mysterious internet job, to my grandparents. And my grandparents play a huge role in my life, but they have very strong opinions. So I decided not to tell them, because I knew the reflex I would get from them as soon as I told them exactly what I was doing, leaving a very stable, cushy job to be able to go onto the internet and share my gifts, share my services, and whatnot. So fast forward over a year later into my business, I finally tell them, I say, hey, I've been doing this internet job and this is what it is. This is StaffNet. Show it to them. They don't quite understand it because it's really not up their alley. And all of a sudden they're like, ooh, are you sure that's good? You don't have a pension anymore. You don't have benefits with this. Is this setting your kid up for success in the future? This is really risky because both you and your husband own businesses. And it was right on cue. I knew exactly what they were going to say. And for me, it was like affirmation. Okay, I did the right thing by withholding information. Not saying you should do that to everybody. I'm not saying live a super secret life. But in this case, had I mentioned it to them at the beginning, I would have had doubts. Not to say I wouldn't do it, but it would have made it a little bit harder. Whereas where I was now, or when I told them, all of a sudden, I was in a different place altogether. And I could tell them, I'm actually bringing enough money to support my family now. And then they got on board, right? They see the money and they're like, oh, okay. So when I was in that position, whatever their opinions are, it's fine. At the end of the day, I have no ill feelings towards it, but I was able to move past it a lot faster and actually not even worry about it, right? Because their opinions are based on their experiences, which have formed their beliefs and thus their opinions, right? And that's kind of based on their life. And so I can't hate on that at all, but it wasn't for me. And so that's why I kept it to myself. So just be wary of other people's opinions and who you divulge information to, right? And then we'll come over here. So your idea coming into reality. So we're going to talk about your why, your mission, your core values, then your business plan. Should we do it or not? Right? There's a huge debate between that. Do you need investors and researching? So your why. This is the core of your business. If you don't know what your why is, then you probably shouldn't start your business right away, right? If you don't know exactly what you're waking up for every day and night to do to be of service to somebody, then really and truly we need to kind of figure that out before we can move forward with a business idea. It's not to say you won't have one in the future, but you have to be able to wake up every day and not get paid to do what you're doing. And then your why is decently big. And then on top of that, your why needs to make you emotional, right? So we want to peel back the layers of what your why is. And then your mission. So your mission statement, actually, I got it from a mentor of mine, Donald Miller. He's the CEO at StoryBrand. So I'm going to read it out to you. So basically how it goes is we accomplish X by Y because of Z. And so what you're doing is you're incorporating your why, you're incorporating some financials in it, goal setting, and that's kind of embodied in your mission. And you can share that with the public and you can share that internally as well. So ours for StaffNet is we will gain 10 contracts by the end of December 2023 because more businesses need access to personalized systems to run their businesses effectively, to take back their day and live a more free life. And so that's our mission, right? We want to help business owners break free of being kidnapped by their businesses, held hostage constantly, and being able to live a larger life with their family, doing what they love ultimately. So that's how our mission works. And then your core values. This is what your messaging is going to essentially revolve around. Anytime you're doing any sort of copy for your website, for your marketing, emails, whatever it may be, whenever you're messaging your people, your core values are really embedded in that. How am I wanting to show up for this person and help these people? And that's going to be the driving message forward for you. Second one is your business plan, yay or nay, right? So big debate. Speaking from personal experience, I did not do a business plan for all three of my businesses, and they are still well and thriving in six figures. But that was more for me because, I have project plans and I have everything all planned out and stuff like that. But in terms of like a formal business plan, never was for me, not up my alley. On the flip side of it, if you need more structure and you need more security, this is a great idea for you, right? And so you can definitely do that if you have more than one partner. That's also a really great idea. And then when you talk about the idea of investors, they need a business plan. So that is when you would for sure need a business plan, which leads us into, do you need investors? And so again, it's very subjective to whatever is your preference. I believe strongly that you don't need a lot of capital to start a business. You can start small and scale if you're creative with your funds. If it's something where you feel like you need an investor and you can get from point A to point B all the faster, and you have a mentor and somebody that you trust and whatnot, maybe the investor route is the right route for you. But one thing that I was always warned of is when you lose freedom in your business is when you have investors within your business, because the vast majority of business owners want one thing in their business, which is power. I want autonomy to do whatever I want to do in my business, and I don't want to be strong-armed to do something that I don't want to do, right? I want to be the driving force, be the vehicle of my business, and move it forward right now. So that's where investors stand. It's very subjective. It's up to you at the end of the day, what is the best option for you? There's no one option. is better than the other, really and truly. And then researching. So I am all about doing research. You know, you want to search about the market and your competitors, which we'll talk more a little bit later. But don't spend too much on researching. A lot of people spend years in the researching phase. Oh, I just need to spend a little bit more time figuring X, Y, and Z. And sure, okay, be prepared. But at the end of the day, the sooner you start, the better off you will be. Future self will be thanking you. And really and truly, researching can be a form of procrastination. So just be wary of where you stand within that researching phase. And then finding your people. So market research, you know, you want to find your target audience, like where are your people, you know, what age group, demographic, socioeconomic status are they at? What types of jobs do they hold? Do they have kids? Where are they in their trajectory of life? And then you want to figure out, where do these people hang out the most? So one example for us was with StaffNet. We were hanging out a lot on Instagram for a while, and we still do a little bit, but through a lot of research, and I did everything to make Instagram look beautiful too. Like I spent way too much time on it. This is before we could hire a VA and all that. And so all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, well, we're not really getting engagement. And then this LinkedIn thing over here, that's more long form content. Yeah, it's a bit more work, but actually there's a lot more engagement for these styles of businesses, what I'm learning. And as soon as we kind of flipped the attention a little bit more onto LinkedIn, it made a world of difference in terms of leads, engagement, and just overall brand recognition, which is going to be huge for your brand in the beginning, because people want to know, like, and trust your brand before they're going to engage with it. So it's a lot of relationship building. So yeah, we're going to talk about your target audience. So you want to figure that out. And then what are their pain points? So what problems do they need solved? You want to think about the problems that are keeping them up at like 3 a.m., the day-to-day headaches that are just like driving them bonkers. And honestly, the best way to do this is ask them. Go up to these business owners, go into a store, call them, whatever it may be. In the world of internet that is today and accessibility, there is no excuse where you cannot approach somebody and literally just ask them a question. What is your biggest pain point? And they will tell you. People love to talk about their problems. So ask them. And that is the best way to find out how you can serve your people and create a unique brilliance about it, because we're going to talk about competitors next. You're going to have a competitive edge. So what's going to make you different, which is where we need to get creative and have a little bit of fun in terms of what you can offer. So competitors. So you want to do a little bit of experimenting. We want to see what they're charging, what they're doing really, really well. What type of copy do they have on their website that is moving you, that is making you feel a certain way? Do you feel supported, or do you feel kind of like, oh, it's very robotic, like it's not really personalized towards me, right? And so you want to see what you like, what you don't like. And then from there, just kind of make points. And the things that you do like, emulate. Never copy, because that's their copyright, but try and emulate it the best that you can in terms of how they break it down, right? They start with a problem and then they provide a solution. And then if you don't go with them, they tell you the repercussions and then they tell you the positives, right? So like everything is very systematically laid out. And so you just want to be very cognizant of that and just kind of wear that hat whenever you're on anybody's website now, that marketing hat, to be able to say, oh, I see what they're doing there, right? And then from there, you want to figure out what their unique brilliance is, like I mentioned before. What makes them different? What makes them stand out from the market, right? And then you want to tweak things to be different for you. So you want to be even better, of course, right? So an example for StaffNet, basically we still are subscription based for small businesses. So we would have features like employee scheduling, task management, team messaging, CRM, inventory, HR reporting, all that kind of stuff for small businesses. And it's very standardized, and we didn't reinvent the wheel, right? So there's other products on the market that do the exact same thing. And then we were approached by a moving company, and they basically asked us, well, could you build out our perfect system? And this was like a huge aha moment for us. We're like, yeah, we can actually add more features. We can do like a la carte. Oh, wait, we can do a menu and you can choose exactly what you want and you don't have to have any fluff, nothing that you won't be using. So you're paying for exactly the things that you need. And this is where we were able to shift markets. And then all of a sudden we just saw our business explode because this got really interesting for people. So we kind of got our golden ticket in a way, right? Another way of unique brilliance that I've seen in the past is amazing customer service. If you can stand out in terms of customer service and how you support them and make them feel seen and supported, you'll stand out, you'll shine really and truly. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just do that exceptionally and you'll do an amazing job. So those are the main key elements to finding your people. Beta tests. Okay, so I love beta tests. Beta tests are going to save you tons of money, going to give you lots of feedback, and you're actually going to find your target market if you're not totally sure where your people land. Okay, so the two key elements to remember for beta testing, this is the first experience with your product. So really and truly, we want to make sure it's one that our customers, even though they're in a beta test, they're still our customers, won't forget. And we want them to speak of our brand so highly that they're evangelists for our brand, really and truly, right? And we want them to bring on people and talk about it. And so, especially in the beta phase, we're not doing advertising. So word of mouth is so powerful. It's the best form of advertisement. So why not get that started early on? So that's why we want to make the experience incredible for them. We want to treat them like gold because really and truly, these people are amazing for helping us out and, basically doing, I wouldn't say doing our job, but they were finding bugs for us in the system. They were giving us ideas and feedback for features that they would love to see, the fluff that they would remove type of deal. So that's where we want to focus. And then number two is you can charge for it or you could not. So on the side of StaffNet, we opted not to charge for it because, like I said, we were still working out kinks and bugs. So we really wanted to give the best experience. And since they were giving us invaluable feedback, we thought it was only fair that we didn't charge them during the beta test. And the nice thing is, because we did such an amazing job of onboarding them and supporting them through the whole process, they signed on afterwards. So we had paying customers right from the get-go when we launched, which was phenomenal, right? That's the ideal situation. So that's what you want to do. The flip side, I have a friend who runs a mobility business. So he provides stretches online and protocols and all that stuff. And it's a coaching business. And then he decided that he was going to certify coaches now. So he built out a course. With that course, he wanted to create a beta because it was half built and he wanted to see how it would work out and like the streamlined process of it all. So he wanted to bring people in. What he decided to do, and because he has years of knowledge, he has tons of work under his belt, so many years of practical work, and it just basically like his knowledge is worth a lot of money, even if it's in a beta test. He decided to charge for it, which is fine as well too. And he actually ended up making money off his beta. So there's two ways you can go about betas. One way is not better than the other. It's just really preference. And then I will talk about the roadmap to how we secured 30 beta testers for us. So my approach was super simple. Don't laugh. It's honestly just the silliest little process. I went on LinkedIn, and at the time I was not very savvy. And so with like social media, I did like a little bit of Instagram and Facebook, but overall I had a LinkedIn that I never touched. I went on LinkedIn and I was like, hey, well, I can reach out to professionals on here. I know there's a bunch of professionals. So I just cleaned up my LinkedIn page. I created a StaffNet page. So this is like going back to 2020 and everything. And then I started reaching out to people, and I just basically was very simple in my approach. I think I wrote down what I actually was saying to them. Let's see. Yeah, so I basically was really simple in my approach. I was reaching out to a bunch of people. Like I was searching owners, I was searching what else? CEO, presidents, just like anybody who was higher up in the company, and I was connecting with them. And the funny part is I was just like so like eager to get on there and to connect with these people because I had heard from a friend this was like a really good way to get on there. And I realized it was really spammy. And so I didn't want to take the approach of being spammy. So I would send a connection and then I would basically send the message I'm going to say in a moment. But the funny part is I just was connected with like all of these people, not thinking about how many or that LinkedIn would have a max number. And the funniest part was that I got a slap on the wrist from LinkedIn and they gave me a warning saying that they were going to deactivate my account. I was like, why? I'm doing what you're supposed to do on LinkedIn. I'm connecting with all these people. And they're like, yeah, you can't connect with more than 100 people in a week. And it turns out I had sent like, I think 250 connection requests or something like that. And they were like, no, you can't do that. So if you want to take this approach, don't send more than 100 connection requests within a week, FYI. And then here is the really simple message that I used. So, hi X, I noticed you run whatever business, and you're one for bringing major value to your entrepreneurial community with your enterprise. I'm reaching out for a favor today. I'm running a free beta test for, at the time it was 6 months, to learn about my new target market and overall create an awesome product to help small businesses thrive in any market against their competitors. The benefit for you would be saving you in your business time and money. We've created one hell of a software to automate your day and reduce daily hiccups and miccups. And the benefit for us would be the invaluable feedback. Click the link below to access my personal calendar to learn more. So again, like I mentioned, LinkedIn has so many spammy people. I wanted to just have more of a refreshing message and not be like, hey, buy my stuff, meet with me, and stuff like that. So I went in terms of complimenting them, raising them up, and basically kind of putting them on this pedestal, asking for a favor, explaining their benefit, my benefit, and then my link. So the idea or the psychology behind that is that by putting them on this pedestal saying, hey, you're this type of person, you give back to your entrepreneurial community, they're more likely to want to live up to that because you've already put them on the pedestal. So they're like, well, yeah, I am, right? And I wasn't being disingenuous. I honestly believe that this person would want to do this because, again, I want to help them as well. And then from there, I'm asking for a favor. So I'm being very honest. Can I have a favor from you? Do you want to help me? And generally, 9 out of 10 people want to help other people, especially in the entrepreneurial community, right? And then outlining the benefits. I'm very clear. This is what you're going to get out of it. This is what I'm going to get out of it. And then my link down below. And I was astonished by the amount of requests that I got. And not everybody signed up for the beta test because it wasn't necessarily for them, or I didn't think that they kind of met the criteria to be able to need our software. So I wanted to be very clear on the expectations and make sure it was the right fit. And then from there, I had tons of different types of businesses. So I had brick and mortar, I had restaurants, I had nightclubs, I had moving companies, cleaning businesses, you name it, everything under the sun was in this beta test. And I said, okay, if I can't get a narrowed down group on who's the best target audience, then there's no other way. And it was such a great way because I would have weekly calls with these people. I made them feel so supported. That was my number one goal because we hadn't launched at this point. So they were my main goal. And then we would do feedback cards and stuff like that. So they would send us in some information and we would tweak things. And then they would see things are different now. So they would see that their feedback is actually making a difference. And then we would thank them like so often. We would send them free coffees on Fridays. Like we made them feel amazing. And from there, like I said, we were able to sign on all of them at the end of it. So it was pretty awesome. The thing that I would do differently with beta testing next time is I didn't know about lead magnets at the time. I wasn't aware of squeeze pages and funnels and all that stuff. So I did a lot of manual messaging. So that took a lot of time. I didn't have a VA, right? So I would definitely use a lead magnet to be able to have people opt in on their own for a beta test, have them put in their email, and then that would be like a seamless process if I were to go through this all again. So I would automate the process and make my life a little bit easier. So launching. So here's to doing the dang thing, right? So here's the number one mistake that I made along my journey. The customer journey, just doing ready, fire, aim method, failing forward, the tools and strategies to have in place, and then metrics. So the number one mistake that I made at the time, and I had a business coach, she said, you need to create a landing page and you need to create hype about it and get people excited and get people to opt in for your email list. And I'm thinking, we're 6 months out from launching. Like who would want to be interested in a product that doesn't even exist yet? And she was like, well, you'd be really, really surprised, actually. I didn't buy into it. I was like, that doesn't make much sense. It's a software, they would want it right now, and then they're going to be so disinterested in it once I actually do release it. So no, you know what? We'll launch it, and then I'll start doing those things. And so fast forward to the day that we launch, and my naive brain, this is what I was thinking. So we had our beta tested. I'm like, cool, we have these customers already. Like we have a decent base. And then we got a marketing plan from, and we'll talk about marketing afterwards, but basically we had a marketing strategy in place that we paid for. And then the ads would go live on October 21st, the day that we were launching of 2021. So I'm thinking, perfect, the people will come. I built it. I kind of built everything out in terms of support. I created the ads. Everything is good. The people will come. Even though I don't have many emails, it's fine. It's totally fine. I had like under 100 emails on my email list, which is not enough. So the ads start going and I get really excited. I see the ads and everything, and not really much coming in, like little trickles for trials and stuff like that, because we have a 14-day trial, right? So it's not even people paying yet. And then I'm like wondering, okay, maybe I should have ramped this up first. So that's one huge mistake I made is before you launch your product, yeah, beta testing for sure, but actually get people excited about it. So even though people are not in the beta test, you want to promote the heck out of your product, even if it's not actually there yet, and get people stoked about it and warm up those people and build that relationship. Because once you do launch your product, they're more likely to buy it and put up their hand because you are in their mind already as a solution. And that's what I did not buy into. And then we want to talk about the customer journey. So customer journey is basically mapping out, I'm starting at point A and all the different stops that they're going to make along the way to becoming a happy customer. And so really and truly, if you have like a whiteboard, this is the best way to do it. If you're a visual person, or if you want to do like a Jamboard on Google with your team, just map out, they start here, stranger, and how they move through your system and all of the points of contact where you're adding as much value. Now, the game to this is you are adding as much value as you can along the way, like so much freaking value, to the point where you're like, I don't know, I'm like over delivering. You want to over deliver, because that is how you're going to build a really, really good relationship with your new customer and make them really excited to be a part of your product. And that is how you start a really great relationship that's going to last a really, really long time. And obviously you continue to nurture that, right? And so just do it. After that, ready, fire, aim method is essentially, we're ready-ish, right? And then we're going to fire. From there, that's when I'm going to start aiming, because I'm going to figure out and adjust my methods, my strategies, because I just need to get out there and start doing it. Once I start doing it, I can say, okay, well, that doesn't work for me. I'm going to recalibrate to go over here. This kind of works. Okay, we're going to move over here. And then you're going to start to see what works for your business, what kind of works, and you'll start to kind of learn all of these things, right? We'll talk about metrics in a moment, but I just really want to talk about failing forward. So just know that you are going to have so many mistakes along the way. And I call this failing forward, because we are on this trajectory forward. And as long as we learn from our mistakes, we are continually going to fail forward. If we kind of worry about our mistakes and we kind of harp on our mistakes, we're going to stay stagnant in the same place. And that is not helpful to you. That is not helpful to your family. And that is not helpful to your mission. And your mission is to help serve your people and your why. And if you're not doing that, that's selfish, right? So it comes back to, why are you here? Why are you wanting to do the thing that you want to do, right? And so we want to move forward, fail forward always. more mindset. And then the tools and strategies to have in place. So overall, the tools that we have for our business are, you want to have a landing page. These are super simple, like the basic things that you need. So you're going to have a landing page, a squeeze page, a funnel, a website. But again, it does not have to be fancy. You can use the easy templates that they have and just really, really good copy. So the idea behind copy is you want to have keywords that are relevant to your industry. So that links up with SEO, search engine optimization. That is like a whole other topic that I won't even get into, but if you can do, I would highly recommend just looking at masterclasses. I'm the queen of masterclasses. I've done so many of these freebies that I've just like gained all of this knowledge because there's so many nuggets in it, and haven't paid a dime for these courses. So if you can do a masterclass for copy, for SEO, seriously, like look it up and it's well worth your time. It's usually about like an hour or so. So yeah, basic things that you need. You want like just a landing page where people can land, opt in, give you their information, and maybe you give them something in return, like a lead magnet that you're offering, or they're maybe landing on your website, but you want to always try and capture that lead as much as possible because otherwise it's just a waste of your time, right? And then you want to automate your tools from your squeeze page to your landing page. So when people are giving you their email, it's then going into some sort of email marketing sequence, a nurture sequence, if you will. So I'm going to go over the tool that I use for my email marketing afterwards. It's super simple and very cheap. And then, yeah, your email marketing campaigns and your nurture sequences are things that you want to work out. And basically, those are emails along the way that are automatically sent to your audience. You've definitely received them from people before, and that's just basically to be top of mind constantly. And this is on top of the weekly emails that you're sending, right? You constantly want to be there. If you cannot email consistently, I don't recommend emailing at all, because the thing is, you don't want to show up occasionally. You want to be constantly arriving in their mailbox, because again, you want that brand recognition, that know, like, trust, warming up that relationship and constantly reaching out, right? It's kind of like that friend that like never reaches out, and then all of a sudden like they give you that random text and they say they want something. So you're trying to sell a product, right? It's kind of puts a sour taste in your mouth. You're like, oh, I don't really like that. So the thing is, with email marketing, you want to give, ask, or tell them about a product, right? And so that's the idea behind, you want to continually show up on a very, very consistent basis. And then from there, we're going to talk about a hub to run everything for your business in one central place. So it really depends on what kind of industry you're in. For the sake of this example, I'll give you the service sector. So if you were scheduling employees and you were looking for clients, you'd have a CRM, you would have product inventory, HR tracking. You want a hub where everything is stored and basically just have one place to have all of your employees go to minimize hiccups and mix-ups. And then you basically want to choose one social media platform. This is a huge mistake that I personally made. Everybody makes it, because we see all of these big brands having all of these different social media platforms, being like, wow, they do it all, because they pay like thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to these teams of employees to run specific different platforms, right? And so we can expect ourselves, maybe you can, maybe you're Superman or Superwoman, but we wear all these hats in our business, and there's no way that we can maintain every single social platform up to the highest standards. So don't put yourself in that position, because you're going to feel like a failure 99% of the time. So just do one social platform really, really well. And if you can master that, okay, move on to the next one. So that's my major recommendation. And then your metrics. You want to track what's working and what's not, right? So that links up to the ready, fire, aim method. We want to make sure that we're tracking where our metrics, like where are people landing? How long are they staying on our website for? So Google Analytics, for example, where are they surfing on our website? What kind of information do they find interesting? Do they like this video? That kind of stuff, right? Are they clicking on this button? So we want to be tracking all of this and recalibrating and analyzing pretty much on a weekly basis. Then we're talking about marketing. Okay, so my 20K mistake, this one was a funny one. So this is one that we had when we launched our marketing on October 21st of 2021. My husband trains a very wealthy jeweler, and he basically during his training session was saying, I tripled my income, or I tripled my investment from these ads that I did on the radio with this media company, and then they did social media ads and all that stuff. Comes home, tells me this whole story. I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, that sounds like my golden ticket. I could definitely do that. So then I hop on a call with this media agency, and of course they're willing to take my money. They're like, yeah, we can do this, 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 and this. I'm like, this is great. And they're like, these are your, this is your demographic. This is who we're going to reach. And then we're going to get probably this many leads or this much interest in your product. I'm like, these are amazing numbers. Sign me up. $20,000 later, I had very little to show, basically less than 1% of my investment back from those ads. And what I realized was when I tracked the metrics, my organic marketing, so SEO, my blogging, any kind of organic content that I was posting on LinkedIn or Instagram was actually generating more interest than the paid traffic, which is like mind-boggling, right? But again, that ties in with brand recognition. Nobody knew what StaffNet scheduling was. So there was no like trust, there was no relationship at all. And I was just throwing ads in front of these people. Generally, they say ads have to be seen by somebody 7 to 8 times before they actually become interested. So I hadn't done the work yet. I just wanted the quick and easy fix, which was not the way, right? So please learn from my mistake. Don't spend so much on advertising from the get-go. Really try and focus on not having a huge marketing advertising budget, because you can do it for $0 if you're creative. And I'll give you a few ideas that I've worked on. And when I spent that $20,000 in our first year, I didn't have anything else to work with. I was not allowed to spend any more money, first of all. But I had to get really creative and saying, okay, we have money coming in that supports our overhead, but I cannot justify to spend any more on advertising right now until I learn how to do it properly. But let me figure out this organic marketing, because obviously it's generating something over here. So here are the top ways that I like to generate. So I would be going with my blogs. I would be going with guest posting. You can go, so guest posting is whenever you submit an idea to an online publication. The really cool thing is that you can submit ideas to any online publication. You can submit it to Vogue. You can submit it to People Magazine, Business Insiders, whatever, wherever your people show up essentially is where you want to target and kind of funnel that. So you can email the editor of that section of the magazine or publication. You can say, hey, I have this really great idea for this topic, X, Y, and Z. And you pitch them your idea. You don't have to write the article yet. And then they'll come back and say yay or nay. But from there, if they do come back and say yes, and then you create the article and then they post the article, they link back to your name and your business. And then where do people do? What is it? Like they read the article and what do? They click on your name, they would usually follow you. They also click on your business and then you get traffic to your website. So that is what I was able to do. And then you can go on podcasts as well. You can, so basically just talking about your business. And then from there, you can do collaborations with other businesses who are at the same level as you. So you can kind of exchange services or exchange audiences. And then from there, you have endorsements as well. And then, well, endorsements are a little bit fuzzy because sometimes people are paid, but you can also do endorsements in terms of giving your services for free. So that's the approach that we took with some businesses at the beginning. And then you have your content marketing, right? So that's all free if you're doing it all in-house as well. So those are the ways that you can spend $0. When to start paying for ads? Again, very subjective. So it's really up to you. you can start from the get-go. I do recommend doing micro gambles to start because you really want to play around with it without spending too much money and see, okay, like this works really well over here, but I'm going to tweak it over here. With these micro gambles, you can play with a lot more money in smaller doses and actually gain more. My rule of thumb is for every dollar that I put into advertising, I want to see 2 return. If I don't see that, then the ad is turned off. And so that's how I approach it. And I usually track the ads on a weekly basis, or my team does. And then here are our favorite resources. So basically, I have lead opt-in, squeeze pages, all on that ClickFunnels, and it's all automated. So they're sent email campaigns as soon as they opt in, or they're sent in the opt-in material. And then website building and blogging. When I started, it was with Wix, and they give you a free domain. It is so easy to use, and it is so fun. Like the way that they set it up is just really, really well done. So I would recommend Wix. And then the best email marketing engine for me is Flowdesk. That's what we use and absolutely love it. AI copywriter. So if you don't have time to do blogging on your own, AI is a really good option. ChatGPT is also free. You could do that. Jasper AI, you do have to pay for. Calendar booking, Calendly is really good. They have the free option. A lot of these have free options. And then Stripe payment processing, they don't charge you a fee. And then StaffNet, obviously, that's my baby. So all things backend, you have employee, client scheduling, tracking hours, CRM, everything in between. Then we have master classes. Like I mentioned, you can find these anywhere in the internet. I was actually just scrolling on Instagram earlier and I saw 3 come up. One for, I think, Pinterest, one for Instagram, and one for growing your email marketing list. So they're out there, seriously. You don't have to buy the courses afterwards. You can just take away the golden nuggets that they give to you and apply them in your business. And then for graphics and content, Canva. They have a free account and it's phenomenal. So I highly recommend these. I do have some discount links if anybody's interested, and I'll give you my email at the end of this. And then here is, like I mentioned at the beginning, this is my #1 cold outreach converting message. Basically, this is how I reach out to people, or our team does now. And we reach out and we basically don't do a sales pitch. We, again, come from a place of service, and we actually offer to pay for their time. 9 times out of 10, people will ask about our business by the end of the call and actually want to hear more. And we have, I'd say, 3 out of 10 calls actually sign up for a subscription, which is pretty good. It's a 30% conversion rate. So yeah, it just says, thanks for connecting. I run a SaaS business. I'm doing some marketing research. And basically, on top of the pain points for SME businesses like yours face, the hope is to gain more perspective, improve our system, and perform better in better for our clients. This isn't a sales pitch. I'd actually like to pay for your time. So let me talk about that. So again, nobody's asked for us to pay for their time, but I gladly will. And the way I would do this would be like an Amazon gift card or something like that. So it doesn't have to be anything crazy. But generally, people want to be of service, like I mentioned before, when you're asking for a favor. So really and truly, when you reach out like this, a lot of people do want to help. And it's fun to get on calls with this because worst case scenario, if somebody doesn't ask about my business, I'm learning about their pain points and I'm able to put these down in a notebook or whatever. And then down in the future, I can say, oh yeah, we should probably go in this direction because I've had 5 people mention this issue. Right. And then from there, they can book in on my calendar link. And that's it. So I wish you all the best on your success. Thanks for listening today. It was so nice to meet all of you. And if you have any questions, email me, Jenna@staffnet.ca. I do have the discount codes if you guys are interested in those resources. And honestly, any questions?
Wow, Jenna, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of that great information. Honestly, if I had known half of that stuff, I'd be a lot better off than what I am at the moment.
I know, that's the way I felt as I was writing. I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I knew all this at the beginning.
Oh, that's amazing. It's so many nuggets in there. Thank you so much. something that even if you're not a startup and that, you know, you were still running your business, there are some things that you could still be doing to better either your conversion rate or just better your website, or just any tips that Jenna shared that you know, can help us all, no matter what stage we are in our business. It was an amazing thing, and thank you for sharing your email with us. And I'm sure that people will get in touch with you as they need to find out more about StaffNet. Just let me ask you a little bit about StaffNet, because I know when we did the podcast, I was so intrigued by it. I thought it was an amazing product. So if you could just share a little bit about it, I'd love that.
Yeah. So now, like I said, we have two different sectors. So for small businesses where we started, it's subscription based and it's a SaaS product. So they're able to use different features to track employees' hours, employees' schedules, and create automations so that they can schedule their employees in 1 minute versus 30 minutes now. And so they can take back their time, and different features range from inventory, your CRM, task management. It's one hub where all of your employees, but also your clients can show up, so that you don't have to do a lot of back and forth with email. And again, it reduces the amount of mistakes in the day. The flip side is the a la carte option. So working with larger enterprises to customize a solution for them, because it's not a one size fits all approach. Once you kind of get into that $1 million revenue, they're dealing with larger clients, larger contracts and whatnot. So we have literally a menu like at a restaurant, and it's a la carte, and they can choose, okay, I want this, this, and this. You know, I don't need employee scheduling, but I really do need HR tracking, because we need to track the people's vacation hours because their salary, right? And so we're able to do that. They can do quoting, they can do invoicing. So all of that is kind of integrated into their perfect platform. And so, like I said, it's no fluff. So whatever they don't need, they don't have to have added on. And we've worked with a few businesses so far with it, and they've loved it. So it's been a really fun adventure kind of going down that road. So we're servicing two different target audiences right now.
Amazing. And that is it available internationally?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I will put the links in the group under your name, so people can find you there. It's been a pleasure, Jenna. Thank you so much. And you are the last person for the day for me to ask this. If you had some words of wisdom, what would you share?
I would say, don't be afraid to believe in yourself. Fail forward, be willing to fail forward, and just know that, you know, whatever happens today, tomorrow is going to be a new day, and you just kind of need to go with it. Just kind of don't get hung up on the now of the situation, because as an entrepreneur, we can feel like the whole world is collapsing in on us and like, oh my God, woe is me. It's going to be okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can all live to fight another day, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Jenna, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to having more conversations with you in the future.
Likewise. Thank you for having me, Rose. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.